Former Federal Treasurer Peter Costello has resigned as chair of Nine Entertainment days after appearing to shove a journalist to the ground at Canberra Airport.
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Media Watch. And it was the push that led to a major fall, with Peter Costello resigning late on Sunday afternoon after a bit of biffo and barging 3 days earlier with the Australian's Liam Mendes, who was asking questions about the sexual harassment scandal that has dogged the Nine network.
Were you aware of those allegations, Mr Costello? Why won't you support Mr Sneesby publicly?
Good to see you.
Well, you've got to answer the questions, Mr Costello. Don't. You've just assaulted. Don't. You've just assaulted me. You've just pushed me. It's all on camera.
The Australian's reporter was not deterred by the tumble, getting up and chasing an unhappy Costello all the way to the car park.
That was quite violent behaviour, Mr Costello. Journalists who work for Nine approach people in this manner every day, and you attacked me just then.
Nine's Thursday evening bulletin somehow missed the story. Whoops. But Seven managed to get the Barney into their 6 p.m. opener.
Nine Network Chairman Peter Costello turns on a reporter, knocking him to the ground.
And next day, it was big news across the papers, including the Herald and Age, which are owned by Nine.
Costello assaults reporter.
Costello stands firm after reporter takes a tumble.
Costello's brain snap.
Aggro in charge at Nine.
And it was the hot topic of the day on Breakfast TV, by which time Costello's sorry, not sorry was also getting a run.
Mr Costello denies striking the journalist.
I walked past him, he walked back into an advertising placard and he fell over. I did not strike him. If he's upset about that, I'm sorry, but I did not strike him.
And was anyone buying that line? Well, no. With columnist Susie O'Brien from the Herald Sun telling Sunrise.
Yes, I am from a rival media network, but even The Age, which is owned by Channel 9, is saying that it appears that Mr Costello did actually come into contact deliberately.
And Nine's highly paid shock jocks were lining up to slam their chair.
Boss, you've had a shocker.
If Mr Mendes is right, and he was pushed over by Peter Costello, that is a very, very bad look for Peter Costello.
A very bad look indeed for the chair of a media company, especially when the culture in its newsroom is the issue, as Triple M's Luke Boner was pointing out on Sunrise.
When we talk about the male toxicity and the problems of bullying and harassment at Channel 9, all allegations, and you think, here's Costello, the chairman, at the helm, you wonder how many of these stories coming out of Channel 9 might just have a bit of truth attached to them.
And it's a doubly bad look when Channel 9 has a programme that hounds people down the street almost every day of the week, as Pauline Hanson's Chief of Staff James Ashby was reminding us.
I can just hear the theme song of A Current Affair. He's the chair of that same network that would thrive on footage like this. He should never have done that. Silly, silly, silly.
Silly indeed. And for Costello, it ended up being a push too far, which makes you wonder if the now ex-chair ever watched his primetime Current Affairs show.
What's the time, Mr Wolf? Sentencing time, isn't it?
Who are masters of the art of making people look dodgy and who could have offered their chairman a piece of advice.
Nothing screams guilty more than a person bolting.
Indeed. But let's not pretend that Liam Mendes is the innocent hero in this saga, because like the folks at ACA, he's got form in harassing people, chasing Finance Minister Katie Gallagher out of the same airport and into the same car park last year while he peppered her with questions over her knowledge of Brittany Higgins' rape allegations.
Well, I don't understand how you can say that you didn't mislead the Senate.
Thanks, sir.
And dishing out similar treatment in April to defamation loser Bruce Lerman.
How are you feeling after the judgment? You found the rapist?
And back in 2016, in his days as a pap, Mendes was after celebrity fitness instructor Michelle Bridges, who tried to take out an AVO against him and told the court,
This is the first time I have ever felt so intimidated and threatened and fearful. I was completely distraught.
But however much you're provoked, reacting in the way Costello did is the one thing not to do. And the Nine board obviously agreed, with Costello saying in a statement,
Going forward, I think they need a new chair to unite them around a fresh vision and someone with the energy to lead that vision for the next decade.
Or, in other words, I'm out of here and someone else can clean up the mess. But now, to more serious biffo in last week's State of Origin, which was the biggest TV event of the year, attracting 3.4 million viewers for Nine, and which made even more headlines than usual, thanks to this ugly king hit on Maroon's fullback Reece Walsh in the 6th minute.
Reece Walsh hasn't moved in back play. He's gone for the night. He's been out cold for around 30 seconds, Reece.
Yeah, didn't look good, did it, Joey? Here's a good shot.
This may be close to a send-off.
Freddie, you were close to that action.
Yeah, you can see what was happening.
Walsh lay motionless on the ground for more than a minute before managing to wiggle his fingers, after which he was escorted from the field and sidelined for the night with concussion, while Blues centre Joseph Suali'i was sent off for dangerous play.
They're off. Oh, he's sent off. Direct contact with the head.
Next morning, Sydney's Daily Telegraph celebrated the incident with a picture of Walsh smashed on the ground, with his eyes rolling back, and this brutal headline.
It's a knockout. Send-off delivers brave Blues a crippling blow.
The crippling blow being that the Blues were left one player down and lost the game. But sadly, no such sympathy for Walsh, and no dwelling on the telly's ugly build-up that encouraged the sort of hit that Walsh had suffered, with the paper's front page on game day declaring...
Reece trap. Blues will terrorise Queensland pretty boy.
New South Wales legends.
And a 2-page spread inside trumpeting...
Let's bury the pretty boy.
With the paper showcasing comments from 2 league enforcers who last played the game last century.
New South Wales Rugby League legend Ben Elias has labelled Queensland pretty boy Reece Walsh a lair and demanded he be obliterated by the Blues in State of Origin 1. And ex-New South Wales hardman Mark Carroll added, as an old dinosaur, seeing someone so beautiful as Walsh, with his flowing hair and painted fingernails, I'd love to get my hands on him. His beautiful blue eyes would be spinning.
At no point in the story did the telly challenge this incitement to violence and suggest it might be dangerous or question the offensive tone and language. In fact, it repeated the comments in the paper's editorial and added...
That's the spirit. Go, New South Wales.
Elias's call in the telly to obliterate Walsh was repeated by Yahoo Sport and also by the Daily Mail, which chose to highlight the threats from Carroll, telling readers excitedly...
One of the most feared enforcers in Origin history says he wants to smash Reece Walsh because of the Queensland star's painted nails and beautiful blue eyes.
And Elias, who says he's a big fan of Walsh, was also on sports radio network SEN, issuing the threat to Queensland listeners.
We're going to absolutely annihilate your number one pretty boy, little Reece Walsh. His fingernail painting and his eyelashes are going to be absolutely ruined this evening, I tell you. The first kick... The first set of 6, it'll go up high. Yeah. He'll be watching the ball and we'll come through and cut him in half.
And sure enough, those words came to life a mere 40 seconds into the game when Reece was hit in the air after kicking downfield. And then again, 5 minutes later, when he was taken out for good. So, was all this talk about terrorising Walsh just harmless fun? Typical Origin bluster? Well, possibly. But as the Courier Mail's Robert Craddock said of the pre-game rhetoric...
There has to be limits.
While the Sydney Morning Herald's CBD column branded the knockout front page a low blow and slammed the telly for firing up the aggro. Meanwhile, former Blues hardman Ian Roberts, the first NRL player to come out as gay, called the hit on Walsh ugly rugby league and told me to watch...
The use of pretty boy comes from the same place as faggot. It's language used to belittle people, and it speaks to an ongoing culture problem within the NRL men's game. Reece is a talented player. It's sad that grown men feel threatened by his looks or the colour of his nails.
But the problem here is not just one of prejudice and culture, because players who are knocked out, like Reece, face real dangers, as Channel 7 was reporting.
The amount of force going into the brain would be akin to a car accident.
And that poses a real problem for the game, with former New South Wales player Braith Anasta telling Fox Sports that if league goes soft to protect its players, the punters will turn away.
If we go too far, Buzz, there won't be a game. There won't be a game.
Oh, Brace, stop it.
People will stop watching.
There won't be a game if people like Reece Walsh get another knock this year and then another one next year.
I get it, Buzz. We've got to protect the player. I get it, but we've got to protect the brand.
Wally Lewis is as much part of the brand as any league player in history, and as tough, captaining 30 Origin games for Queensland in his stellar career. But he suffered head knock after head knock, and as the ABC reported last year, he is paying for it now.
Good evening. Despite the...
A seizure live on air. He'd kept his epilepsy a secret.
Most of us take on this belief that we've got to prove how tough we are. If we put our hands up and seek sympathy, then we're going to be seen as the real cowards of the game.
Doctors blame his early seizures on brain trauma, and now for his probable CTE, similar to dementia, memory loss.
In April, Wally Lewis told the National Press Club,
I live with the embarrassment of not remembering some of the conversations that I've just had, where I'm supposed to be, or what I'm supposed to be doing when I actually get there. We need to accept that repeated head knocks can cause brain damage.
Lewis called on the media to spread the message that his CTE is a form of dementia which is preventable. And Ian Roberts echoes that plea, telling Media Watch,
the major sporting codes have been talking about repeated concussions, head knocks and CTE for over a decade now. This is a medical emergency and the time to act is now.
The Telegraph's coverage, glorifying the biffo and brutality, does the opposite of what is needed. We asked the Telly's editor, Ben English, to defend the knockout front page and the repeated use of the pretty boy language. We did not get a response. And finally, to the chicanery of radio giveaways. And listen up, because you could be a lucky winner.
Across the Capital Radio Network.
Hi, this is Mick Jagger.
This is Keith Richards. The Rolling Stones, live in LA.
Am I the right caller to enter into the Rolling Stones competition?
The promo to see the Stones live in LA was on high rotation last month, running on stations 6IX in Perth, 2CA in Canberra, 3GG in Gippsland and GNFM in Goulburn. And 2 weeks ago, one lucky listener got dialed up.
We've got to make that call, that very important call.
Hello.
Hey, is this Deb?
It certainly is. Why?
Hi, Deb. It is Nat and Westo from 6IX, and we're just calling around to some of the people who got on the standby list to see the Rolling Stones at SoFi Stadium in LA. So, were you one of those people?
Of course I was.
All right, Deb. Well, do you want to hear the good news or the bad news, mate?
Oh, don't give me any bad news.
Well, the bad news is you're going to have to not make any plans around July 13 because you are our grand prize winner.
On the same day, but on the other side of the country, the host on sister station 3GG was also calling their lucky winner.
Oh, OK. I think I'm nervous.
Hello.
Hello, is this Deb?
It certainly is. Why?
Amazing, eh? And on Goulburn's GNFM, you'll never guess who their lucky local winner was too.
Hello, is this Deb?
It certainly is. Why?
And next day on Canberra's 2CA, guess who their lucky winner was?
Hello, is this Deb?
It certainly is. Why?
Hi, Deb. It's Holmesy and Scotty from 2CA, and we're calling round to some of the people who got on our standby list to see the Rolling Stones live at SoFi Stadium in LA. Were you one of those people?
Of course I was.
Now, that's 4 Debs talking to 4 breakfast hosts who were all reading almost word for word from the same script.
All right, have you got your passport ready to go?
No, I'll have to get it renewed. Actually, it's gone expired.
Big question. Have you got your passport ready to go?
No, I'll have to get it renewed. Actually, it's gone expired.
And yes, in an attempt to keep it real, they were all parroting the same one-liners.
Now, important question, who are you taking with you?
There's a few people, I'll have to think about that.
Oh. I reckon there might be some bribery involved. I reckon there might need to be some bribes there.
Well, I reckon there might need to be some bribes in there, Deb.
Now, as you can hear, there is only one winner and only one Deb. And it's anybody's guess where she's from and which station made the original call. But the audio from that interview was sent across the Capital Radio Network so the local hosts could fake their own call to Deb by editing in her answers. And why would they go to all that effort? To give the appearance of a local winner on each station. Cheeky, eh? Now, we assume this cheap trick on listeners must be a one-off, but just in case, we thought we'd better check. So we rewound the tapes on 3GG and tuned into the winner of its Rod Stewart competition back in August.
I am dialing right now. If your phone is about to ring, I suggest that you answer it.
Hello, Lisa speaking.
Hey there, Lisa speaking. This is Dixie from 3GG. How excited would you be at the possibility of going to see Rod Stewart in Las Vegas, Sin City?
Very excited.
Can you put it in a number between, say, 1 and 10?
Oh, 11.
And was Lisa dialing it up to 11 when she got the call on 6AX in Perth? You betcha.
Now, how excited are you at the possibility of maybe seeing Rod in Las Vegas?
Very excited.
Yeah, can you put a number on it, like between 1 and 10?
Oh, 11.
While on Canberra's 2CA, Lisa was being asked,
how excited are you?
Very excited.
Oh, come on, out of sort of 1 to 10.
Oh, 11.
Same underhand trick, different competition. And it's all a part of a pattern, because the network pulled the same stunt in February when they sent Paula off to Palm Springs to see Madonna, with Paula telling each breakfast show,
oh my God, you know what? My husband goes. God, you know what? My husband. Oh my God, you know what? My husband goes. I dreamt that.
So, what does Capital Radio Network have to say about conning its audience with all this fakery? Not much, with the company's Chief Operating Officer Josh Matthews telling MediaWatch,
the Capital Radio Network has not deceived its listeners.
Matthews assured us the winners are real people and pointed out that the terms and conditions make clear the comps are network-wide. But do the listeners know the calls are fake? No, they don't. And it's no wonder the tipster who rumbled this ruse to MediaWatch told us he felt cheated. That's all from us for tonight. You can read the full statement from Capital Radio Network on our website. And don't forget Media Bites on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. But for now, until next week, goodbye.